And we're going to start on page 55. Thank you for saving me, Tyler. That's not what I wanted to share. You were moving me on to grammar. Time for
That
grammar.
was a pretty cool wallpaper.
Oh, thank you. It was my Zoom background, I think. Anyways, there's something in the chat. Are you already chatting with me, Easton? Oh, Christopher. An expander. Is that for your internet? Is that what that means? Or is that a game thing? I don't know what an expander is.
I think it's like teeth.
It's for braces.
Is that what it is, Christopher? Christopher? Do you have braces? Or you're going to get braces? Tell us what's happening. Did they have to pull out some teeth or something? Oh, that you're expanding the top of your mouth inside? Is that what's happening? Like there? Can't tell if he's trying to unmute and tell us something. Oh, you're typing. Why can't you just tell us? Or is it hard to talk? Maybe that's what it is. Oh, it's for braces. I'm gonna get braces. I will make room. It will make room for braces. I see. Is it hard to talk with the expander in? Yeah. Okay. I understand. My son had it too when he was young. Does it hurt? Okay, good. All right. So we'll give you a little break today. We're not going to make you talk too much. I understand. We're on page 55. We're talking about the that clause, the lovely that clause.
Meanwhile, I'm still having trouble with adjectives.
Are you?
Yeah, it's sad.
Well, okay. Tell me how you're trying to find them. Like, what's your trick? Or do you have a trick?
I don't have a trick.
Okay, so let me tell you the trick. You ready, Tyler? You got to find your nouns first. Look at the nouns, and then you have to ask something about the nouns, like what kind or how many or which one. That is how you're going to find your adjectives. I'm glad you're telling me though, because I have a sinking feeling you're not the only one that's having trouble with that. So,
Yeah, I have trouble with like nouns, verbs, and adjectives.
well, I don't know how to help you with. We just got to keep practicing.
We just gotta not do
Nice try. Wow.
them. Ah,
Nice try. Easton?
My birthday is in 2 days.
Easton, what? 2 days? Holy cow. How old are you going to be?
11.
What? 11? All right, you guys, you know what this means. You don't have to unmute, but at least show me that you're singing in the camera, okay? I'm going to sing. You guys get to listen to me.
I
Ready?
just put it in the chat.
No, you need to sing it. Sing it.
Oh,
Sing it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Easton. Happy birthday to you. Let's give him a clap in the camera. And many more on Channel 4, and Scooby Doo on Channel 2, and Frankenstein on Channel 9.
Oh my gosh.
Aren't you glad you told me this? Now, that's how we used to sing it when I was a kid, because we watched TV channels. It's like, but I'm really dating myself here, but we had channels that these shows were on. Scooby Doo was on Channel 2. Okay, you got some birthday wishes in the chat. Okay, so and many more on Channel 4, and Scooby Doo on Channel 2, and Frankenstein on Channel 9. Now you know how we used to sing it in the 80s.
I
All
thought
right,
that was
back to,
the 90s, not the 80s.
well, I know you guys think I'm not as old as I am, but I'm actually 51 years old. It's true. That means I was born in 1972. So when I was your age, it was the 80s, the early 80s for me. And that's how we sang happy birthday. There you go. I just revealed my whole life to you. Now you know.
Not the whole life, but a
I'm just
little bit of it.
kidding. Just kidding. Oh, it's being recorded too. So there you go. It's going to be recorded for life. All right. Getting back into grammar, the that clause, and happy birthday, Easton. I hope you have a fun day. Do you have any plans this week for anything? Dinner, cake?
Tomorrow, I'm gonna go to a trampoline park with my friends.
Oh, those are cool. I've been there before. Those are super, super cool. The one in Bakersfield? Or is
There's
there?
one in Visalia. They changed the
Ooh.
names like a lot of times. It was Defy, now it's Sky Zone, then it's probably changing.
Okay. Same stuff, but different name. Is that what you mean? Yeah, okay. That's cool though. That'll be fun. Get your energy out and get some exercise. Those are fun. You can do flips and stuff. It's cool. And you don't get hurt because you're landing on a trampoline. So
Depending on how you try and land the flip.
I guess that's true because you don't want to land on a friend because that would not feel
Because
good.
by experience, you can get hurt on a trampoline.
No.
There was we had like one of those backyard trampolines.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, my friend forgot to close the zipper to
Oh.
and I went right out.
Oh no. And you hit the ground. That's hard. Yeah, that's a hard ground. Yes, Easton.
You can get hurt at trampoline park because I was jumping off this huge block. It was probably like 6 foot, 7 foot. Then I landed like balled up,
Ooh.
like touching my knee.
Ooh.
Then my knee hit my chin. Then my chin like closed in on my tongue, and then
Oh,
it like
cut your tongue.
yeah.
Oh, were you
You can
bleeding?
just say you got a 5-in-1 discount.
I don't think I want that kind of a discount. Oh my goodness. And then I see Christopher's chat. Same thing. My little brother almost pushed my brother almost through the trampoline. So like through the middle of the trampoline or through the zipper, like Tyler's talking about. Like, did the trampoline rip or something?
He's typing.
Oh, typing because he's not talking today. Oh, oh yeah, the little gap like where the springs are. I know where that's at. Yeah, that's not good. All right, enough about trampolines. Let's get back to grammar. I see what you guys are trying to do. I see what's happening here.
It worked for 15 minutes.
And that clause is a group of words that begins with the word that. Big surprise. It starts with that, okay? And contains a subject and a verb. It must be added to a sentence that is already complete. You're going to put parentheses around this. You guys already know this from last year. Same thing, like a who which clause, but you're going to do it for that clause. Timmy knew that the cat ate mice. So here we go. That the cat ate mice is your that clause. You're going to write that on top of that. I know it sounds weird, but that's what they want you to do. And then the subject and verb is inside the clause. Because remember, clauses have verbs. Phrases do not. Clauses do. All right. And it does not need a comma. So that's where it's different than a who clause, because who clauses do take commas. Now we're going to talk about contractions. These are super easy peasy cheesy, pumpkin squeezy. Don't ask me. Okay, anyway, cannot can be turned into can't with an apostrophe. The apostrophe shows where the no has been removed. Cannot, can't. Couldn't, I'm sorry. Let's read these together. We're just going to read them like this. Boom, 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 boom. You guys got it. You don't have to unmute. You can stay muted just so I can see your mouth moving so I know you're reading it. Start here. Cannot, can't, could not, couldn't, did not, didn't, do not, don't. He had, he'd, he would, he'd. It is, it's. She will, she'll. They are, there. Was not, wasn't. Good job. Hmm, Okay. So anyway, you're going to fix it by just adding the apostrophe because they're going to forget the apostrophe on purpose, but you guys are so smart. You're going to figure it out pretty easily. There's a little more on the back here on page 56. Think about it. Many words can be used as different parts of speech. However, a word can perform only one part of speech at a time. For example, meeting can be a verb, adjective, or a noun. So that same word meeting, it depends on how it's used in the sentence. So as a verb, it says the mice were meeting in the kitchen. Were meeting, that is a verb phrase, right? They're together. Were meeting in the kitchen. And then adjective, the mice gathered in the meeting room. It's telling what kind of room, right? It's a meeting room. So that becomes an adjective. And look at it as a noun. The mice agreed to have a meeting. Because that article a is right before meeting. Did somebody just leave?
Yeah.
Who was that?
Liana just got kicked out.
Oh, that's weird. Hold on a second. Because someone's trying to come in our Zoom call and I don't recognize the name. So I'm not letting them in, but I'm confused now. I'm not going to let them in. They're not going to hack this meeting. Oh no.
But what if it's Liana waiting there and then
She's going to have to give me a message then because
yeah. But you can't really type to the
I think I
waiting.
can. I think I can type to the meeting to the waiting room. Yeah.
Wait, you could just let her or whatever person is trying to
Oh
join
wait.
in.
Here's Liana. I know this is Liana because she's got her little chicky emojis. I know that's her. Yeah, see what happens though. You're right, Easton. So it gives me a notification, like a pop-up that says a name, and then it says is waiting in the waiting room. But I don't recognize the name, and they're not in this class, and it's not Caden unless it's like his aunt or grandma or somebody with a different last name. I'm confused. Okay, so anyway, we're moving on. Welcome back, Liana. We were worried about you for a second.
Yeah,
So,
kick me out.
okay, weird. So the three different ways to use the word meeting. Let's go on. Let's just keep going. I'm ready to be done with grammar. Why is it taking so long? Who wants to read it? Anybody? Anybody?
Sure.
Oh, thank you. I knew Easton would pull through. You were too slow, Tyler. You got to be quicker.
Okay. He didn't want to join them, but he recognized that he didn't seem terribly rude.
Yeah,
I
there's
was gonna read it like he did and
like head.
like I was gonna read it slow.
Oh, to make grammar go on. I see what you're doing. All right. The the vocabulary word is recognized. We know what that means. When you recognize someone, you know who they are, right? They look familiar to you. I have to keep clicking. Oh, okay. If there's a chat from Christopher, Tyler, can you tell me what it says? Because I have to click on it to see it. So if he chats in there, tell me what it says. Okay. Pronouns. Let's start with Easton, the birthday boy. Where are the pronouns?
So he, right next to
Good.
recognize,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and recognize. Them,
Them. Yes. Where are they? Okay, them.
he, maybe?
and that he. But then this one we have to fix. This one's, do you know what this is supposed to be, Easton, right here?
He did. Or maybe.
He'd. So we need an apostrophe, right? And that he is another pronoun. And then the first he. So we got he, them, he. All right. Your favorite, Tyler. Where's the adjective? And by the way, there's no noun, so that my trick is not going to help you in this
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
It's going to be a word that describes he,
Yeah.
whoever he is.
So, terribly
You're close, but that's
rude.
ly.
Or
Rude.
rude, yeah.
Terribly is going to be that ly. We're just going to label that. It's an ly adverb, so it is telling that he's rude. So we got both of those. All right, so the coordinating conjunction, Christopher, you can put it in the chat. The fanboys.
He said but.
Perfect. Good. But with one T. Okay. And then the that clause, Liana. Where is that? Starts with that.
That he seemed terribly rude.
Yes. We're going to mark it with parentheses and write that on top of that, because that is what they're telling us to do. And then the subject verb pair. So verbs, Easton, where are all the verbs at?
Verbs.
Action or helping, those types of words.
Recognize.
Yes, recognized is a verb.
Join.
Actually, this is one of those weird ones because it says to join.
Oh.
So it's called an infinitive, so we're not going to mark that one. Normally it would be a verb, but to join changes it. So now it's an infinitive, so not that one.
Okay, so just two more verbs. Want.
Want is one.
And seem.
Good. Seem is one.
Alright. Is that it? Or
Well,
do you want me to do
there's-
the subject?
No, not the subject yet, because there's actually two more verbs in here, and they're going to be like helping verbs. They're going to be right next to the other verbs.
You didn't.
It's the did part, not the not part. By the way, let's plug in our apostrophe because that's bugging me right here. It should be an apostrophe. But did is a verb, not is not a verb. So we're putting a V over just the did part. And then he'd, the D is for would, he would seem. That's a tricky one. That's going to be the verb, is the D part of he'd. And then the subjects, Tyler, what goes with those? Who's doing these verbs here?
He.
He. And who else? Who
He.
recognizes? He again. And who else?
He.
Very good, Tyler. Got it. Capital, that's easy. He. Got a lot of he's in here. End mark, period, and two apostrophes. Boom, done. So, Tyler, do you move around on the list? Do you do the ones you know first and then go back and do the ones you don't know? Okay, good. Because I was going to suggest you could even start on fix it if that's easier for anybody, by the way.
I usually do the vocabulary, then the fix it, and then start with like pronouns and my ly adverb and the
The easy ones.
coordinating conjunction.
Good. That's good. All right, let's put away this. Finally, woohoo, we're done with grammar. Yay. Binders, you guys wrote about salt. How was that? Is that pretty fun, Easton?
How long did that grammar take?
Too long.
We started class at like
It
10,
took a half
15.
hour.
You have to remind me. I'm trying to move on, okay? Let it go. Just let it go. Let it go. Na, 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 na.
Frozen 3.
Yeah, let's do our own episode here. We're frozen on grammar. Oh my gosh. I don't know what it is about this class, so you guys just crack me up, all right? Um, it's a good thing, right? Laughing is good. Good for the soul. Salt. Let's talk about salt. Does anybody want, okay, we have time for 2 people to read. Does anybody want to read their report on salt? It was just so fun talking about salt. Oh, good, Tyler. Go for it. You want me to pull it up for you? Or do
Uh,
you have
I've
it?
got it. It's
Okay.
almost pulled up.
Okay. And
Definitely.
then anybody want to go after Tyler to read about salt? It's just so fun, Christopher. I know you really want to, but
All right, here we go.
okay, let's hear
My
Tyler.
title
You
is
guys can think
Salt
about
Has
it.
Many Uses.
Salt has many uses. Good. Okay.
Salt is not just for food, it can also help you with cleaning. Salt can help you with cleaning the dishes that you baked your meal on. In order to do this, you need to spread salt and let the food loosen. Shockingly, salt can also help save money on brooms. You soak the broom in salt for 20 minutes and the broom is clean again because the salt cleaned the broom. Salt can also polish brass or copper items that are dirty. All you need to do is get your brass and copper polished. All you need to do to get your brass and copper polished is shake salt on the brass or copper, shake the bag, and you should be able to discover what was under the copper that wasn't there before you polished it, which is very interesting. So,
Oh.
in conclusion, salt is not just for food, salt can help with cleaning things. While being used for food and cleaning, salt can also be used for many miscellaneous things. Salt can also be used to make non-drip candles. In order to make non-drip candles, all you need to do is soak the candle for 2 hours and use salt to make it on a non-drippy candle. Salt can also be used to defrost frosty car windows. In order to have your salt do this, you need to rub salt and get water to defrost windows in astonishingly freezing temperatures. Another thing you can do with salt is brighten your face to make it moist. So while salt is used for cleaning, that should be a period. Salt has many other reasons for it, which is an upside to salt because then it sells more because it has a bigger use. This is why people construct many jars and bags of salt and why it has a significant use in the world today. So salt can be used for cleaning and using miscellaneous things. Salt has many uses for food because a lot of processed goods have salt in them. Salt can be used to test for rotten eggs. In order to do this, you need to place a tablespoon of salt in water. If the egg floats, then it is fresh, but if it sinks, then it is a rotten egg. Salt is able to keep milk fresh, which can help a lot. If you want to keep milk fresh, then you can add a pinch of salt and shake it. Surprisingly, just like all the other uses for salt, food is one of them. Everybody should appreciate salt because it is not only used for food. Salt is pretty amazing for all the uses that it has. Salt can also help with odor uses. With salt, you can deodorize so that they don't smell like stinky sneakers. You can also control the smell of the sink with salt. You can do this by pouring salt into the water to drain. If this doesn't work, then you likely need to call the plumber because you probably want to consider having a professional who knows a lot to handle it, instead of taking the risk of having an unfortunate experience and screwing it up more. So in conclusion, salt has many uses, with one of them being odor uses to keep things fresh.
Wow. All right, you guys. That was an epic paper, man. That was epic. I was just gonna pull it up to see how many paragraphs you did. It seemed like, oh, you did 4. Yes, yes, I see that. Wow, Tyler, you outdid yourself. Good job. I love it. All right. Nobody else seemed like they wanted to read. It's okay. You don't have to. We can go on unless anybody changed their mind. Does anybody want to read theirs? No? Yes? No? Okay. That's okay. Don't worry. We're going to move on. So we need to put this away. The first page we need to put away is your banned words, and it's going to go behind the banned words
Yes.
tab. Mm-hmm.
I
That's
definitely didn't say yes while unmuted.
and this is not what I wanted to share. I don't know why I keep sharing the wrong thing. Okay, here. This page, this tan page goes behind banned words. Okay, there's a blue page back there. Put it behind the blue banned word page. So now you have two banned word pages. And we're going to add to those later. So that goes in there. Okay, and then the rest of your salt stuff that you worked on goes away in whatever finished folder you have or finished binder, whatever binder you have, just stick it in there. Just put it behind everything else. Put it all away. And then you're going to get out week 9, which is this one. Let me show it to you. Hold on. Behind source text, like you normally do, it's week 9. Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur. He's French, so I'm trying to say it like a French person would, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. So take out 4 pages for week 9. And a lined piece of paper. Somebody said we're talking about food again, and well, yeah, there's food mentioned in here. Good thing is the whole thing is not about food, but it is mentioned in here. We'll say that. We're talking about this guy, Louis Pasteur. It's a little bit about food, Easton, so not the whole thing. So we can relax for a minute. So thumbs up when you got this out. 4 pages plus lined paper. Good. I see that. Good. Christopher, Liana, you guys ready? We are talking about summarizing a reference. See up here way at the top. Remember how we talked about summarizing? It really more should be SOME, some arising. So you're not going to tell all of the information. We're only telling some of the information because I don't know if you noticed, but this article is really long. It's like front, back, and front. Oh, and then there's a picture of the guy. So it's basically 3 pages long. It's long. And you're only writing 3 paragraphs about this guy. So your report is going to be much shorter than the original. So you're only telling some of the information. Let's look really quick on the checklist page because I want to remind you of a couple things on here. It's the same list as you used for your salt article, except for it's week 9, Louis Pasteur. But the topic clincher is here. You guys did pretty good with that. So that's the topic clincher sentences: repeat or reflect 2 to 3 key words. And you're going to highlight or bold. Either way is fine with me. If you handwrite your papers, you can put a box around it or use a real highlighter. Okay. But that is really important. A couple of you guys forgot about that. So let's review the rule like this. Remember the hand motions? Everybody go like this in the camera. You know the drill. We got to do it. Everybody go like this. Say it with me. Come on, Easton. And Christopher, what happened to your camera? I can't even see you now. Put your hand up so I can see it. Okay, ready? We're going to do it together. The topic sentence and the clincher sentence must repeat or reflect 2 or 3 key words. One more time faster. Ready, go. The topic sentence and the clincher sentence must repeat or reflect 2 or 3 key words. Okay. Don't forget that part. It's each paragraph. Okay. Each paragraph has to have 2 or 3 key words in the first sentence and the last sentence. Don't forget that. And then, of course, your dress ups here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 altogether, so you guys are almost there. You almost have all of them, but you're only underlining 5 in each paragraph.
What's the other one?
It's the Asia word is the last one. Remember WWW?
Oh, yeah.
That's
Like the
coming.
would, what?
When,
Or
while, where. Remember those? As, since, if, although, because, but it's not there yet. But we got the 5. And then, of course, we've got these banned words. Watch out for those. Okay. By the way,
it
really quick.
almost.
Yeah, all my homework assignments are 10 points each. You know that. If you get a 9 or an 8 or a 7 or something lower, don't worry because I'm going to tell you what you need to do to fix it. And then you should fix it and then turn it back into me and you can get 10 points. So you have the chance to get 10 every single time, which is like perfect, right? That's what your goal is, to get 10 out of 10 every time. If you get something less than that, fix it and turn it back in. Okay. I don't want you to just be like, well, I got a 9. Who cares? No, 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 no. I want you to have a 10. So if you got a 9, fix it, turn it back, get a 10. Yes, Tyler.
So I turned mine in, and then I realized I had forgot to check for the banned words, so I
Okay.
quickly unsubmitted it, and went
Okay.
back and checked for it, and I did use one. So I
Oh,
fixed it and then turned it back in.
good for you. See, that's smart. I'm glad you did that. That was good that you fixed it before I even saw it. So I didn't even know. See, that's good. Let's start with our line paper. Let's get this set up for the keyword outline. Go ahead and put your name here. 11/5/24. And we're doing a report on a person. And you're going to skip a line and put his name here. His name is Louis Pasteur. I'm not French, so it doesn't sound good when I say it. But anyway, KWO. We're just going to get this ready. Skip a line. I'm going to go do this kind of fast, but you guys just keep writing until you're done, okay? 3, 4. 5 is going to be in parentheses because you may need it, but you may not. Okay. And then we're going to write that word clincher and that word topic up here like that. Same with number 2.
My keyword outline is definitely not centered.
That's all right. Try to keep your numbers lined up, though. That is important because it does need to be organized. Otherwise, it'll be confusing when you look at it later, but it's okay if it's not centered.
I've heard that many times in math too.
Oh, yeah. Keeping your numbers lined up. Yep, for sure. It is really, really important.
And I always hear it from the same person.
Yeah. Well, now you're hearing it from me too. So keep your numbers lined up. It's really
I have
important.
to add you to my list.
Okay. All right. This is going to be a 3-paragraph report. Woohoo! It's going to be great. Remember, your topic clenchers repeat or reflect 2 or 3 key words. And when you repeat, you guys know that means the same word. It's got to be a keyword, though, not the word the. That doesn't count. Okay. Has to be a keyword. And reflecting means maybe a similar word. We know we're writing about this guy, Louis Pasteur. So I'm going to have you write his name next to each one of these, okay? Louis Pasteur. And you can use his name as a topic clincher too.
Can it be every topic clincher?
You know, I was wondering if somebody was going to ask me that. Technically,
I
yes.
know what the answer's. Oh,
Well, I'm going to say technically yes, but I want to see you challenge yourself. Because really, what's going to happen here? Put a comma, and we're going to have 2 more words here, right? These are going to be your topics. comma, line, right? I made some of them longer, but that's all right. Who cares? That's okay. But you're going to add 2 more words there. That would be more like your topic clincher words. But technically, you could use his name over and over again, and that would count. All right. So let's read this, and we're going to label the paragraphs whatever their topic is, right? Because we have to find the topics now. We're summarizing this reference. So here's this. I'm going to read it, and then we're going to make a note in the margin about what it's mainly about in that paragraph. Louis Pasteur. So it says Louis Pasteur was an important 19th century scientist. He was born in France in 1822 and lived there until his death in 1895. By the way, 19th century means it was the 1800s. So 20th
I
century
thought
means
20th century would be 2000, so.
right? No, it's behind that. I don't know why, but that's
So
what
in the 21st century?
so we are in the 21st century, yes.
What?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
20th century was the 1900s. 19th century was the 1800s. I know, and I don't know why it is that way. Maybe that's something you can ask Siri later. Maybe she could tell you. Okay, anyway, as a boy, he loved fishing as well as painting and drawing. However, his father told him that artists don't make enough money to support a family. So, go dad, you know. He's like, but dad, I love drawing and painting. And dad's like, nope, that won't work. So, although he was only an average student, he diligently studied philosophy and then chemistry. So, philosophy is like the study of people and the way our brains work, like emotional stuff. Like it's really complex, okay? Because humans are strange. I'll just say that. We have emotions and, feelings and all that. Okay, so that's part of philosophy right there. And just about life, okay? And then chemistry, we know what that is with chemical science. Eventually, he became a professor at the University of Strasbourg. That's also in France, where he met Marie Laurent, the daughter of the university's rector, which would be like the president of the university. They married in 1849. They had 5 children, but only 2 survived to adulthood. The others died of typhoid. Pasteur later taught at several other universities. Super sad about his children.
What's
Or their children.
typhoid?
Yeah. Typhoid is like a respiratory or a lung disease. I'm going to look it up though, just to make sure I'm telling you right. Typhoid. Just kidding. It's a fever.
Must be like a really bad fever then.
Well, and remember, this is the 1800s. So that was before we had Tylenol, before we had, over-the-counter medicine and stuff to really, help with fevers and stuff. But yeah, it's a really, really bad fever, and they died. Super sad. So, anyway, so only 2 survived out of 5 children. We need to label this. So this was pretty much about his early life, a little bit about when he was a boy and then going to school and then getting married. So it's kind of like before he became famous. These are the things about him. I'm going to call it early life. So in the margin right here, we're going to write early life. So write that in on your paper next to the first paragraph. That's what that paragraph is mostly about. Christopher, can you turn your camera down a little bit so I can see you better? There we go. Thank you. Right, early life next to that first paragraph. And then down here it says, he did I'll move it over so you can see that. Oh, my light's in the way. There we go. He did an in-depth study of fermentation. Have you guys ever heard of fermentation before? You're about to learn about it. Fermentation occurs when yeasts, bacteria, or mold caused a food or liquid to change. He was able to show how vinegar, beer, and wine are made. He suggested better ways to brew beer and keep wine from going sour. This helped his country to make money and pay its war debts. In 1852, he was made head of chemistry at Lyle University, where he uttered his well-known maxim, "Fortune favors only the prepared mind." All right, there's a few words in here you might not be familiar with. Fermentation, it just means when it changes chemically in a food, like wine, if you know, is made out of grapes. But wine tastes completely different than grapes taste, right? If you eat a grape, I know you haven't tasted wine yet, but it doesn't taste the same at all. It changes, it's fermented, and it completely changes the taste. And then I don't know if you've heard of kombucha, I think it's called. Have you heard of that drink before? Yeah, Easton knows about it. Can you tell about it, Easton? Kombucha?
I've had it before, and it doesn't taste that good. It's like sour.
Sour. It's a little bitter. It's like a non-alcoholic version of a drink, like soda, but not as sweet as soda though. And it's fermented fruit or fermented foods. That's what makes it bubbly. It's hard to explain, but that's a process to make these things, okay? That's what fermentation is. So this is talking mainly about fermentation. The word is in the paragraph, but we're going to put it right here. Fermentation. I'm just writing it on the side so we can remember that's what this paragraph is mainly about. Because we're looking for topics for our paper, right? You're going to pick 3 of them. So far, we have early life and fermentation. Okay, don't forget to write these down. You got it, Easton? Okay. Oops. Next paragraph. Looks like we might be talking more about fermentation. So we'll hear about this. It says fermentation has to do with microorganisms. Pasteur helped people understand that not all microorganisms are bad. In fact, many of the foods in our diet are fermented to allow good bacteria to grow. Most cultures eat fermented foods. These may include bread, chocolate, hot sauce, and yogurt, cheese, coffee, and vegetables, pickles, sour cream, and kombucha. There it is right there, that kombucha, and salami. So did you know all of those things have been fermented? Hold on just a second, East. I'm going to finish this paragraph. Korean people enjoy kimchi, which is cabbage and onions. Japanese, their miso, a paste of soybeans and grains. And Russian people, their kefir, a tart milk. These fermented foods are good for our health because they create beneficial enzymes and vitamins. Okay, so Easton, what were you going to say?
The hot sauce, it said it was like fermented. I think it takes like 5 to 10 years for it to like get to that, like, I don't know what it's called, but
The fermented part? Yeah, I've heard that too for hot sauces like Tabasco. This is more about fermentation. So go ahead and write it here again, fermentation. You can copy the word in the paragraph there. Okay, fermentation again. We're going to keep going. Pasteur's work. So basically we're learning about this French guy, right? He liked drawing and painting. He was an artist, and his dad was like, no, that's not going to make enough money for your family. You're going to have to figure out something else. So he goes, okay, I'll go to school. And he goes to college and he learns about philosophy and chemistry. And now he's discovering how to make these types of foods that are good for us to eat, that help our gut, basically. And it's fermentation. He learned how to do that. So now we're going to find out what else he does or did. He's not alive anymore. Pasteur's work with fermentation led to the development of pasteurization, which is a way to help protect food from harmful bacteria. So we learned that fermentation has good bacteria, but sometimes food has bad bacteria. Like when it spoils, it goes bad, it'll make you sick. So this helps protect from harmful bacteria. It's called pasteurization. Pasteurization was named after him, of course. So look at that word. You can see his last name as the first part. Pasteur. That's his last name, Louis Pasteur. And then the whole word is pasteurization. He invented the process in the 1860s while studying germs. Observing bacteria under a microscope, he saw that they multiplied quickly in food and liquid, causing it to rot or spoil. This explained why milk and milk products go sour. So I don't know if you've ever experienced that before, when the milk in the fridge goes bad. It's pretty stinky and disgusting, and it'll make you sick if you drink it. So, yeah. And it even gets clumpy. Have you ever seen clumpy milk before? Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Easton?
My brother has like drinking the bad milk.
Did he do it one time by accident? My son did it one time. I'll never forget that. But anyway, Pasteur proved that by heating a liquid at high temperatures for a few minutes and then cooling it, many of the bacteria are killed. In his era, food production was not as clean and storage was not as effective as it is today. Thus, pasteurization allowed people to keep dairy products, juices, wines, vinegar, and canned foods much longer. Okay, so go back to this other page at the bottom of 80. This paragraph, we're going to call it pasteurization. Pasteurization. It's a big word, but it's in that paragraph if you need to copy it. This is the bottom of page 80, that second paragraph, pasteurization. So this is especially true for milk. Now, when you first milk a cow, which I've done before, and I've milked a goat, we actually have one. I shared that at the beginning of the year with you guys, right? We have a goat that we milk. And when it comes out of her, it's called raw milk because it just came out of her. And what we do is clean it by filtering it through a little, it's called a cheesecloth. It's basically a way to get out any particles that are in there. But then we just drink it like that. But that's considered raw milk. When you boil it and then cool it down, that's called pasteurization. And that gets rid of germs. But what we're discovering now in the year 2024 is that raw milk has good bacteria in it that's good for us. So you can't win with these people, right? So anyway, back then, they thought pasteurization was the way to go. It does last longer. Like the milk that you buy at Walmart or the grocery store, it does last longer than raw milk. So I'm trying to get another piece of plastic here. Hold on a second. More plastic. We're on the last little bit. I know we got to hurry. Here we go. Pasteur also continued the development of vaccination, a way to fight diseases that might harm animals and people. Vaccinating is done when a small dose of a virus, polio, for example, is given to an animal or human to build immunity against the disease. In 1798, Edward Jenner had discovered that people who had caught the disease of cowpox, similar to chickenpox, but it's called cowpox, generally was not fatal, seemed never to get smallpox. Now that's a fatal one, which often was fatal. So that's still like a giant rash on your body, but you get that high fever, and that back then people died from that. Jenner developed a method of giving people cowpox virus to protect them from the dreaded smallpox disease. So they figured out there was a connection between cowpox and smallpox, and probably later chickenpox, because chickenpox came around later, like in the 1960s, right? So these are all skin rashes. These are all diseases that are contagious. Like if you touch someone who has chickenpox, you're going to get chickenpox too. Yes, Easton?
I think there's a new one. It's called like monkeypox or something.
Yes, I've heard about that. I don't know. It's like all these poxes. When are we going to stop here? Okay, let's keep going. Vaca means cow in Latin. I think it means cow in Spanish too, right? Does anybody know Spanish? Vaca? Doesn't that mean cow?
Yeah, it does.
It does? Okay, vaca means cow in Latin too. And it was Pasteur who purposed the term vaccination to be used to honor Dr. Jenner's discovery. In 1880s, Pasteur developed vaccinations for chicken cholera, anthrax, and rabies. These saved many lives and laid the foundation for the creation of many other vaccines. All right, so this one's all about vaccines. So let's put that in the margin here. I know that vaccines today are kind of a controversy. I'm not going to go into it, but we heard about the COVID vaccine. You hear about that everywhere, right? Get the COVID vaccine. Well, I have strong feelings about that, but I'm not going to go into it. That's all I got to say about that. So vaccines, okay? And then the last paragraph here. Fermentation, pasteurization, and vaccination are among the many things that Louis Pasteur studied and shared with the world. His innovations have saved countless lives and still help people today. Basically, that's
So
rounding
in
it
the
up.
margin, can we write conclusion?
Yeah, you could. But that wouldn't really be a topic. I would put it in parentheses. We could put conclusion and then parentheses, because it's not really going to be considered a topic. There's not enough information there for that. But you've got, let's look back. You've got early life, fermentation, pasteurization, vaccine. So you've got lots of choices for your topics. And when you're writing a report on a person, you always want to start with their early life, because that tells us the background of who they are. So we are going to start with early life, but then after that, you can choose what you want to write about this guy. So, but let's put here for Roman numeral 1, early life, right? That's what we're going to address here in the first paragraph. And then in the second paragraph and the third paragraph, you get to pick. Your choices are fermentation, pasteurization, or vaccines. To me, I think fermentation and pasteurization are going to be easier to write about, but it's up to you. I'm going to put fermentation here. You can copy me or do something different. And then pasteurization here. And
What's the
you'll have,
third line for?
yeah, your third line, you'll have to come up with a word for that, like kind of an overview, like for fermentation. You could put something like bacteria, or that, oh, here's a good one. He was fascinated with fermentation. It says that he was interested in learning about that, right? He did an in-depth study. You could put the word study. I think I'm going to put studied. The other one was pasteurization. That's probably what he's most famous about. I'm going to put famous here because his name is in it, right? That's what he became famous for. Louis Pasteur, because he developed pasteurization. Okay, so we got our 3 topics here. We got early life, fermentation studied, pasteurization famous. If you like the idea of writing about vaccination, you can change one of these to vaccination. Easton, did you have a question?
This morning, or like 2 days ago, I went to my grandma's house. So I was gone for like 2 days. Then this morning, I had to do my writing
Yeah?
like in like 1 hour, and I'm gonna do it after.
Okay.
It might be a little bit late because it was after this class, but
It's okay. I know sometimes life gets busy. That's okay, Easton. Just turn it in whenever you can, okay? So just to remind you, all of these facts right here are going to support his early life. So everything under early life, right here with early life, that's what you're going to write. Find 4 or 5 facts about his early life to put the keywords here, okay? Then you're going to look for fermentation. Fermentation, we already labeled them. That's this bottom paragraph and the one on the back. You're going to find all your facts here about fermentation next to the paragraphs that have fermentation there. And then the same for pasteurization. Do you guys understand what I mean by that? You're going to look at only those paragraphs. These are short paragraphs, so I do want you to write the 3 paragraphs too. So you're going to do the keyword outline. I see your face, Tyler. I know you can do
But
this.
like you're saying we have to write the keyword outline, type
And
the
write the
paragraph,
report.
and write the report on
Yes.
paper.
Yes. You
Wait,
got
so we have to wait, so we type it and write it?
You're going to finish the keyword outline. You got to write your facts here
Yes.
for each of those paragraphs and write 3 paragraphs.
But we can either type it or write it. We don't have to do
Yeah,
both.
yeah.
Right?
You can type it. You have to write in this part. Yeah, is that what you mean? Yeah, you're going to write it in for your keywords are going to go here and your numbers and symbols and things like that. That's all going to go here. But then you can type your paragraphs. You don't have to handwrite them. That makes sense? Okay, you guys got this. See you next week. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.